Ever since cars were invented, there's always been that one thing that set one car out from the rest. Whether it's performance or looks, there's always been a unique car. And in this video, we'll be talking about cars that stood out due to their top speed for every decade. Hey, my name is Alan, and here are the fastest cars for every generation. Starting in the 1930s, Duesenberg, a brand that's basically known to have invented the first supercar, in 1992 introduced a supercharged version of their Model S, the Model SJ and the SSJ. Featuring a supercharged version of their naturally aspirated 6.9-liter DOH straight-8 engine, the cars were capable of 320 and later 400 horsepower instead of the naturally aspirated version's 265 horsepower. This enabled the cars to reach a top speed of 135 to 140 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 within the 8-second range, making it the fastest car of its decade. That leads us to our next decade, the 1940s. In 1948, Jaguar introduced the XK120, the first contemporarily styled Jaguar, succeeding the SS Jaguar, and will set a tone for Jaguar sports cars for decades to come. Powered by a 3.4-liter inline-6 that produced 160 horsepower and 264 Nm of torque. Power was sent to the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual, and as the name suggests, the car was built to topple a 120 mph speed barrier. But later, in 1948, the XK120 set an average speed record of 132.6 miles per hour. And the Roadster XK120 managed an outstanding 135 miles per hour, but was still slower than the already discontinued Duesenberg SSJ. In the 1950s, the Aston Martin DB4 was the basis for what would become the fastest car of the 1960s. The Aston Martin DB4 GT was a lightweight, performance-oriented version of the standard DB4, powered by a 3.7-liter inline-6 that resulted in a power increase of up to 302 horsepower and 366 Nm of torque, which was also mated with a 4-speed manual. In 1959, the car managed a top speed of 151 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 in just 6.1 seconds. In the 1960s, Ferrari 365 GT before Daytona was peak Ferrari V12. Powered by a 4.4-liter DOH V12, produced 347 horsepower at 7,500 RPM and 430 Nm of torque at 5,500 RPM. Despite being a performance luxury grand tourer, the 365 GT before Daytona boasted a carb weight of 1.2 tons. Combined with an aerodynamic body, it managed a top speed of 176 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 in just 5.4 seconds, making it the fastest car of its decade. In the 1970s, Lamborghini created the Lamborghini Countach LP400. The wedge-shaped supercar entered production in 1974 and was produced for 16 years. The mid-mounted 3.9-liter V12 developed 370 horsepower, which was routed to the rear axle through a 5-speed manual. The Countach was less aerodynamic than its looks suggested, but even so, it managed a top speed of 179 miles per hour. In the 1980s, considered by many to be the best supercar ever made, the Ferrari F40 was the last Ferrari developed under Enzo Ferrari. And his iconic phrase, "I don't care the gaps in the body are uneven, when the driver steps on the gas pedal, I want him to shit his pants," perfectly defined the F40. Weighing just 1.25 tons and powered by a 2.9-liter twin-turbocharged V8 rated at 478 horsepower, potentially going above the 500 horsepower mark, the F40 was able to reach top speeds of up to 201 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 in just 4.2 seconds, making it the fastest production car in the 1980s. But the record was about to be obliterated in the next decade to come. In the 1990s, Gordon Murray, a man who will go down in history as an automotive perfectionist, created the most memorable car of them all, the McLaren F1. No stones were left unturned in pursuit for motory perfection when the car went into production in 1992. This car featured the first ever in a production car, a 3-seater layout, and a BMW-derived V12 that was so balanced it did not need a flywheel. The naturally aspirated V12 boasted an outstanding 627 metric horsepower and a 6-speed manual, making it capable of reaching speeds of 243 miles per hour, making it the fastest naturally aspirated production car till this date. Seeing a European-dominated category in the automotive world made the Americans want to produce a speed demon of their own. Hence, in 2004, American car maker Shelby Supercars, SSC, not to be confused by Shelby America, introduced the Ultimate Aero. The car design seemed to be inspired by the Lamborghini Diablo, and the Ultimate Aero TT swapped a twin turbocharged instead of a superchargers for 1,287 horsepower and 1,500 Nm of torque, and also came with a 6-speed manual. This combo was good for a top speed of 257 miles per hour, making it faster than the Bugatti Veyron of its period. The 2010s. In 2015, Koenigsegg, a Swedish car maker who in 2002 came dangerously close in dethroning the McLaren F1 with the 240 miles per hour Koenigsegg CC8S, introduced the Agera RS, which packed 1,341 horsepower and 1,371 Nm of torque from a 5-liter twin-turbocharged V8. In November 4, 2017, the Agera RS was tested and it reached a top speed of 284 miles per hour. However, the average of both ones was 277.8 miles per hour, making it the fastest production car for a few years to come. The 2020s. Gordon Murray with the McLaren F1 paved way for other car makers to go crazy, and the title for the fastest car was constantly being exchanged between Koenigsegg, SSC and Bugatti. In 2019, Bugatti introduced the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus, which was a long-tail version of the standard Bugatti Chiron, but will only come into production in 2020. The 9.8-inch longer body provided an extra high-speed stability, allowing the car to reach a record-breaking 304.77 miles per hour, making it go down in history as the first car to break the 300 mile per hour speed barrier. The 8-liter quad-turbocharged W16 produced 1,577 horsepower and 1,600 Nm of torque, making it go from 0 to 60 in just 2.2 seconds. While there have been claims of other cars being faster than the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus, including the Koenigsegg Jesco Absolute and the Hennessy Venom F5, these claims haven't been proven yet, making the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus officially the fastest car of this decade till this date.